This will not comfort you. If you came for comfort, leave now. You will not be missed. What follows is a cost, not a gift. Listen carefully. Everything here will take something from you. It will take the one right you value above all the others, the right to flinch. You have spent years building a life that lets you look away. You call it managing yourself. It is avoidance wearing a calmer face. Right now, something in you is sending a signal, a dull ache, a tightness, a dread that visits at the same hour every day. You treat it like an enemy. You medicate it. You scroll past it. You sleep through it. You explain it away. You have never once sat still and read it. That signal is not noise. It is the most honest message you will ever receive about your own life. And you have been cutting the line every time it comes through. Here is what this episode will cost you. You will lose the comfort of the verdict. The story where the pain is a punishment. The story where you are the victim and someone owes you an apology. In exchange, you get one thing only: the truth of where the work actually is. Not where you wish it were, where it is. By the time this is over, you will not love pain. You will not enjoy it, but you will stop running from the only teacher you have that never lies to you. That is the trade, the flinch for the truth. Decide now whether you can afford it. Start with the lie you tell yourself about pain. You think pain is something that happens to you. A weather, an accident, a cruelty handed down by a world that should have known better. So you respond the way a victim responds. You wait for it to pass. You ask, why me? You look for someone to blame. None of that reads the signal. All of it cuts the line. Look at what you actually do when the signal comes in. The pain of a body gone soft sends a clear message. You answer it with a snack and a screen. The pain of work you keep postponing sends a clear message. You answer it with a cleaner desk and a fresh playlist. The pain of a conversation you owe someone sends a clear message. You answer it with 3 days of silence and a story about how they would not understand anyway. Every one of those pains was data, a coordinate, a direction, an arrow pointing straight at the work. And every time, you turn the arrow into a complaint. Understand what the flinch really is. The flinch is not a weakness of the muscle. It is a decision made so fast, you can pretend you never made it. The signal arrives. For a fraction of a second, you see exactly where it points. And in that same fraction, you decide not to look. You have rehearsed that decision 10,000 times. You are not lazy. You are extraordinarily disciplined. Disciplined at not looking. Watch how much machinery you have built for it. The phone within reached the second a hard thought lands. The second coffee that is not about coffee. The errand that suddenly cannot wait. The moment the real task comes due. The opinion you go online to argue because someone else's problem is easier to carry than your own. That is not a man with no discipline. That is a man who has aimed all of his discipline at the wrong target. Here is the pattern, named plainly. You feel the signal. You label it suffering. You make the suffering mean something is wrong with the world or wrong with you. Then you spend the whole day managing the feeling instead of reading the message. By nightfall, you are exhausted, not from the work, from the avoidance. The avoidance costs more than the work ever would. It always has. Take it personal. The pain you keep flinching from is not random. It is precise. It returns to the same place because the work is in the same place. The thing that aches is the thing you have neglected. The body knows. The conscience knows. The signal does not lie, and it does not forget. Notice how specific your pain actually is. You are not in pain about everything. You are in pain about the few things you have refused to face. The deadline, the wait, the call. the skill you are afraid you do not have. That precision is a gift, and you keep treating it like an insult. You say the pain is too much. The pain is not too much. Your interpretation is too loud. You say you will deal with it once it settles down. It will not settle down. It is not supposed to. A signal that goes unread does not go quiet. It gets louder until something breaks. Every signal you ignore does not disappear. It compounds. The small ache you would not read at 20 becomes the loud one you cannot escape at 40. The conversation you skipped at 25 becomes the silence you live inside at 35. The skill you would not start becomes the ceiling you blame on luck. You are not avoiding pain. You are storing it with interest. So this is the diagnosis. Not that you feel too much, that you read too little. You were handed a precise instrument at birth, and you have spent your whole life calling it a curse. So change what the signal means to you. Right now, pain means stop. From today, pain means here. Here is the place. Here is the work. Here is the direction. This is not a trick of attitude. It is a correction of reading. Think about what pain is actually for. It is the oldest signaling system you own. It exists to drag attention to the place that needs attention. A hand on a hot surface, a muscle torn, a trust broken. The signal is not the problem. The signal is the early warning that lets you act before the damage becomes permanent. When you flinch, you keep the damage and throw away the warning. You take the worst half of the deal, so take the other half. When the signal comes in, do not ask, how do I make this stop? Ask one question instead. Where is this pointing? The dread before the hard task points at the task. Walk toward the task. The shame after the broken promise points at the promise. Walk toward the person. The ache of an unused body points at the floor. The weight, the cold morning. Walk toward the floor. Notice that the answer is never far away. The signal does not send you on a search. It hands you the address. Marcus Aurelius wrote his hardest instructions to himself at night, alone, with no one to perform them for. He was not recording wisdom he already had. He was reading his own pain on the page and turning it into the next morning's orders. That is the whole practice. The signal, decoded, made into a command. This is the threshold. On one side stands a man who treats pain as a verdict and spends his life appealing it. On the other stands a man who treats pain as a coordinate and spends his life arriving. You cross that threshold every time you move toward the thing that hurts instead of away from it. Not once, every time. It is a threshold you recross every single day. Understand the freedom hidden in this. If pain is a sentence, you are a prisoner waiting on a judgment that never comes. If pain is a signal, you are an operator reading an instrument that never lies. One of those men is helpless, the other is dangerous, disciplined, decisive. You get to choose which instrument you believe you are holding. The work does not begin when the pain stops. The work begins the moment you stop trying to make it stop. That is the pivot. Stop managing the feeling. Start reading the message, then move toward what it shows you. So here is what you do with the signal. Not someday. The next time it rings. When the body aches from neglect, move toward the ache. When the work feels too heavy to begin, move toward the weight. When the conversation sits in your chest like a stone, move toward the person. When the skill exposes how little you know, move toward the gap. When the failure still stings, move toward the lesson buried inside the sting. Move toward it while it is still small. Move toward it before it compounds. Move toward it on the morning you least feel like it, because that is the signal at its most honest. Stop asking the pain to be quieter. Stop asking the work to be easier. Stop asking the world for an apology it was never going to send. Stop waiting for the ache to pass before you act, because the ache is the instruction, and the instruction does not pass. It points. Read the signal. Read it like data, cold, without flinching. Read the dread and find the task underneath it. Read the shame and find the promise underneath it. Read the envy and find the work you have not started underneath it. Read the boredom and find the standard you abandoned underneath it. Read the resentment and find the boundary you never set underneath it. Read the anxiety and find the decision you keep refusing to make underneath it. Every feeling you have been calling suffering is a coordinate. Plot it, then go. This is the law you live by now. The thing that hurts is the thing that points. The place that aches is the place that grows. The signal you most want to silence is the one carrying the most information. So train yourself, on purpose, to turn toward what you have always turned from. Feel the resistance and call it direction. Feel the dread and call it a heading. Feel the discomfort and call it the temperature of work being done. Do not numb the signal. Do not scroll past the signal. Do not drown the signal in a bottle, a screen, a story about how it is everyone else's fault. Decode it. Act on it. And when the same pain returns tomorrow, decode it again. This is not a single act of courage. It is a discipline of reading. It does not get easier because the signal gets weaker. It gets easier because the distance between feeling it and moving shrinks. First, it is an hour, then a minute, then nothing. You feel it, and you are already moving. A man who reads his pain accurately cannot stay lost for long. He always knows where the work is. The instrument tells him. It never stops telling him. You wanted to know how the sharp stay sharp. This is how. They do not feel less than you. They flinch less than you. They take the same signal you bury, and they walk straight down the line it draws. Become the man who moves toward the signal, not once, every time it rings. Slow down now. The signal is already coming in. It came in this morning. It will come in tonight. You know exactly which pain I mean. The one you skipped past to start reading this. It has not gone anywhere. It is still pointing at the same place it pointed yesterday. The work has a location, and the location has not changed. Here is the cold part. No one is going to read it for you. No one is coming to sit with your dread and turn it into action. No one is coming to feel the ache on your behalf and do the rising, the calling, the lifting, the starting. The instrument is in your hand. The signal is yours. The line runs to no one else. There is no rescue scheduled. There is no one on the way. There is only you, the signal, and the short distance between flinching and moving. Close this. Find the pain you have been managing. Stop managing it. Read it. Then walk toward it while it is still honest enough to show you the way. No one is coming. That is not the cruelty. That is the permission. Now go and do what no one is coming to do.